John Aukerman for Convention of States, Indiana. In this series on COS Basics, we are having some fun busting some myths. And I must give credit where credit is due. Virtually everything I'm saying in the myth-busting videos is found on the conventionofstates.com website, along with a lot of other details that I don't have time to talk about. So a lot of this material is not exactly original with me. Somebody smarter than I figured it all out and wrote it, and I'm just happy to share it with you. Today's myth is that the Constitutional Convention cheated on the ratification process. So the question is, did the 1787 Philadelphia Convention actually cheat on the ratification process? Here's the myth. The founders in Philadelphia changed the rules. They knew that they could never get 13 states to agree to this new Constitution, so they cheated on the process and said that the Constitution would go into effect as soon as only 9 states ratified it. That's the way it was, but was it cheating? Here's the fact. The Constitutional Convention merely proposed a new ratification process. The Convention had no real and no final powers to establish the new Constitution. It would be within the power of the states, and it would be up to Congress to agree or not to agree with the Convention's proposals. First of all, Congress agreed. You see, the Convention transmitted 2 documents to Congress: the proposed Constitution and something called resolutions of transmittal. And you can see that at conventionofstates.com. The resolutions of transmittal contained the new ratification instructions, I should say the proposed ratification instructions. Congress was given no role in the new process. Congress was asked merely to transmit both of these documents to the 13 state legislatures, the Constitution and the resolutions of transmittal. Congress could have refused to transmit the documents. That would have amounted to a rejection of the new ratification process. Or Congress could have transmitted both documents to the states, and that would signal approval. Well, Congress transmitted both documents to the states. Congress, you see, approved the proposed ratification process. Secondly, the states also agreed. The legislatures of each state also received the proposed Constitution and the resolutions of transmittal containing the recommendation that each legislature establish a ratifying convention in that state. As with Congress, any state could have rejected the new ratification process by refusing to create a ratifying convention. And if any state had refused, the old ratification process requiring unanimity would still be in effect. But every legislature, all 13, voted to create ratifying conventions in their states, signifying unanimous approval of the new ratification process. With the new ratification process now having the unanimous approval of the states and of Congress, the Constitution could now be ratified according to the proposed process, ratification by 9 state conventions. Busted! The myth that the Constitutional Convention cheated on the ratification process is busted. The Convention merely proposed a new ratification process. The Convention had no real and no final powers to establish the Constitution. It was for the states and Congress to agree or not with the ratification process. And I am so glad that they agreed.